Alright guys, this is going to be a banger of a video. You're going to be seeing a couple clips here before we get started. The testbed system, things that you want to consider if you are playing Fortnite on a system that's capable. You should definitely download the high-res textures, DX12 shaders, and the disable cosmetic streaming. Now the disable cosmetic streaming, as you can see, is a nearly 26 gigabyte file, and that downloads every single asset for Fortnite. And you know, if you've been dealing with some stutters and stuff, that could be part of the stutters. It may not be. It's hard to say. So we start out the testing here, DX12, everything all maxed out with ray tracing. So Lumen, Nanite, all that stuff is enabled. This is a long video. This is about 31 minutes long. I have about 3 to 4 minutes of gameplay per video. I'm just using a bot server, but the graphics are all still the same as the current map, minus vines. So there isn't that in here, but whatever. This is just to give you an idea of what the FPS looks like on my particular system with a AMD RX 6800 XT graphics card with a Ryzen 5950X CPU, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and yes, I do have my game loaded onto an NVMe SSD. If you're gaming in the modern age and you have an SSD, even a regular SSD is going to be regular, or excuse me, even a regular SSD will be better than a standard hard drive, and then NVMe drives are better than SSDs, so on and so forth. Now, this was a response video, not to call anybody out or any such a thing like that. I had made a comment on a TikTok video posted by Cataclysm Computers, which you can go up onto TikTok. You can probably find the video. It was entitled RTX 4060 versus RX 6750 XT. And in the video, the gentleman stated that if Fortnite was your main game, that you would probably want to go with the RTX 4060, citing that apparently people are having problems with AMD graphics cards playing Fortnite. As this video goes on, you will see that there's no problems at all whatsoever until we get into the DX11 modes, which is very minimal on the 6800 XT for my system and my setup, but it might differ for other people. In the DX11 outputs, there was a 1% low of 1 FPS. Don't know what caused it. Who knows? Hard to say. My theory is that modern graphics cards are designed for DX12, and so these developers and companies that are working, engineers, etc., so forth, that are working on these graphics cards, when they make the BIOS software for the graphics card, they focus on DX12 and they don't focus on DX11, even though technically it's still there. And so therefore, when you go to DX11, there's going to probably be some, you know, problems, because the card technically isn't capable of running DX11, even though it can. Just think about it in your mind that everything is modern now and everything has been modernized, and when you go back to something that isn't worked on anymore, that there might be problems. Now, I have heard from other people that they have serious stutters in DX11 mode. The statement was that people are having problems with, say, getting 400 FPS and then all of a sudden dropping down to 30 FPS and it getting stuck at 30 FPS. I mean, there's a lot of things that can cause that. Make sure that your settings are correct in Fortnite, meaning make sure you don't have a limit on your FPS unless you're specifically trying to match your monitor's refresh rate. Check your monitors if they have the built-in capability. There are some monitors that automatically default to 60 frames or 30 frames. I mean, I haven't seen a monitor in a long time that defaults to 30 frames, but sometimes that can happen. So check your monitor's menus and make sure that they're not stuck or set defaultly to 60 frames, or 60 hertz, sorry. And so even with the monitors that I'm using, I had to set mine for the maximum rate, which two of my three are 170 and one of them is 144. I don't use the 144 for gaming. It's just on the side monitor that I use for monitoring streams and stuff like that. But the point is that you can have this issue with monitors. If you are on the AMD platform of CPUs, you want to make sure to download the AMD, I want to say it's called the resource kit. I don't remember. You go up to AMD and it's a little tiny file that you download, and it has a set of instructions specifically for AMD CPUs underneath Windows, because apparently in all of Microsoft's glory, they don't write a certain set of instructions for AMD CPUs, and you need to have those instructions. And like I said, it's a little tiny thing. You can do a search. You can go up to AMD directly. It's like a 10 megabyte file probably, if that. It could be a little bit larger. I don't know. I haven't downloaded it in quite some time, but I do use it. And this is not the AMD profile for the power settings, which you might want to download that as well. There are specific to AMD profiles for Windows. Of course, you want to make sure you're using high performance. You want to make sure to turn off anything that will allow the computer to go to sleep or go into hibernate or any of that kind of crap, etc. and so forth. Also in this video, it was stated that the 6750 XT is basically the same performance rating as a RTX 4060. That is actually not the case. The RTX 4060 is faster than the 65 or 6750 XT by about 10%. So if you actually want a comparable card to the 4060, you're actually going to want to get a maybe a 6800 non-XT. I know that sounds dumb as all get out, but you know, the 4000 series of cards are all weird and stuff, and you know, like their low-end cards are, you know, better than a lot of AMD's cards right now, just because Nvidia wanted to go balls out, and they did. A lot of people in the comments did agree with me though on the TikTok video that they were not having problems with their AMD cards. So, you know, I did comment to the guy stating that it must be a personal problem that he's having, but ultimately what it ends up coming down to is you're going to need to make sure that, you know, if you're, you know, you need to make sure that your graphics drivers are up to date, the newest that you can get. If you're having a problem with a current generation of driver, roll it back to an older gen until you get stability. You know, other things that cause GPU stutters: lack of system RAM. You know, your stutters are essentially a bottleneck. There's a bottleneck of something going on somewhere, and it may not be your graphics card at all. You may be running a graphics card that's too strong for your CPU, or you've got a CPU that's too strong for your graphics card, or the game is using an excessive amount of RAM. I mean, you can see in these videos that, you know, this is system RAM total usage, but you know, I'm using 30 gigs of RAM while playing Fortnite with these settings, and you know, I would estimate that at least half of that is being used by Fortnite. So, you know, if you've got everything all loaded up, all high and stuff, you've got to have enough system RAM for Fortnite to be able to store that on the fly. If you don't, you know, there's probably things you don't want to install, like the texture pack and all of that stuff. In these videos, I did try to land in the same area. I tried to play in the same area. Yes, these are all bots and stuff, but there's literally, it's all AI, all clumped up in one area. So it would simulate as if there were a bunch of players near you. Actually, I think that this is a better test than going on to live servers or the servers with players on them, because these bots, and this is a building server, so these bots will build walls and structures, and you know, they pick up all the usual stuff that they do in the regular games, except these bots aren't trying to avoid you at all whatsoever. So it simulates a server under load, in my opinion. Other people may not agree, but you know, it is what it is. And these bot servers are also great for, you know, as a side note, they're great for getting some practice in and getting warmed up, as compared to just going into creative mode and you know, building some walls or whatever. Now, the performance on the 6800 XT was better on the DX12 modes than it was in the DX11 modes, and I mean, technically even in performance mode. I have found that with the 6000 or higher AMD cards, and even going as far back as, I would say, the 2070 RTX 2070 and up, I have found that if you run the cards on the newer platform, being DX12, that you're going to have better performance overall than running in performance mode or DX11. You know, if you're on a toaster, aka a laptop, you know, you can turn your stuff down, but if you've got a dedicated graphics card in that laptop, it should not be having any problems at all whatsoever, unless it's a heat problem, which is the case with a lot of laptops. In that case, just get a laptop cooler, you know, something that you can stick your laptop on. And if that doesn't work, then get a box fan and stick your laptop on top of a box fan. I guarantee you that'll cool it off. Joking aside, laptops should be able to handle this if they have an onboard graphics chip. If you're getting stutters on a laptop, you've got a bottleneck. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, just shoot them in the comments below. I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of the video. Like I said, each set of these clips is about 3 to 4, maybe 5 minutes tops, but I'm pretty sure I kept them all 3 minutes or less. And just to, you know, roaming around and just give you the idea of what everything looked like, and you know, how the FPS was jumping around and all that other stuff. I never did get a 0.1% low in any of the tests. As I said, I only saw a 1% low in DX11. I think in all the modes, actually. So from high settings all the way to low settings, I still got that 1% low coming up. And I theorize that that is because these cards are meant to run at the higher resolutions, higher textures, etc. And if you go back to older technology, it's not supported as well, and so you're going to get these weird hitches. The other hitching, if you are running DX12 and you are running fully modern, like I said, if you have an AMD chip, you need to go get the resource pack for the CPU specifically. It has a set of instructions for Windows to basically tell Windows, one, that it's an AMD CPU, and two, how to use the full use of the x64 architecture. It's always been a little bit of a problem with AMD CPUs on Windows, and that's because Microsoft used to work exclusively with Intel back in the day. They obviously don't anymore, but the point is that even going back years and years and years, Microsoft does not specifically put AMD instruction sets inside Windows. You can try that. If you don't have enough system RAM, that's definitely going to be a problem. If you're playing Fortnite, you need at least 16 gigs of RAM, in my opinion. If you can get 24, that would be even better. 32, whatever. If you're a streamer, you need to be streaming with no less than 32 gigs of system RAM, and of course have an appropriate CPU and GPU that can handle that. Anyways, guys, I've been talking long enough. We're 15 minutes into a 30-minute video. You can watch the rest of this on your own. As I said, if you have any questions, ask them down in the comments, and I will attempt to answer them the best that I can. If you have any questions about bottlenecks specifically, there's plenty of sites out there that you can search through Google or Bing, bottleneck calculator, and you can find out if you're having a bottleneck between your CPU and your GPU, or if it's a good fit. Anyways, peace, guys. Have a good one, and I hope to catch you on the next video of tech or Fortnite or whatever it may be.